Look, most legacy enterprises out there right now, they're basically playing a losing game of defense. They're clinging to safety, cutting costs here and there, and just hoping that minor efficiency gains will somehow magically secure their future. But out in the real market, digital natives are completely rewriting the rules. They aren't just adopting shiny new tools, they're restructuring their entire workflows to aggressively capture market share and achieve truly exponential growth. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're ripping up the old playbook to break down the exact mechanics of aggressive value capture. We're going to show you exactly how organizations can pivot from defensive, safe, one-off experiments to true offensive market dominance. Okay, let's dive into this. If you look at the landscape of legacy businesses right now, a glaring question emerges. Why are these massive digital investments completely failing to deliver the expected ROI? Well, the core problem is that safe, defensive pilot programs simply do not move the needle. Approaching digital transformation by just sprinkling a little new tech over a legacy process is essentially playing not to lose. And let's be real, in a digital-first economy, playing it safe is actually the absolute biggest risk you can take. To really understand this shift, let's look at the two mindsets side by side. Playing defense is your classic legacy approach. It's all about one-off tech projects, super narrow use cases, and basically playing a perpetual game of catch-up. It's like giving an employee a shiny new tool just to do an outdated task slightly faster. Purely incremental, right? But playing offense, that's the digital native playbook. It demands end-to-end transformation. Instead of automating a single isolated task, you are completely reimagining the entire workflow. You're taking the human out of the loop for those repetitive bottlenecks and moving them up to higher value oversight. That's how you maximize overall ROI. And honestly, that's how you build the kind of intangible capital that competitors literally cannot replicate. So, to get you to that offensive stance, here is our offensive playbook for today. We'll start with the mindset shift, unpack the technical engine required to power it, explore what it means to be agile by design, and finally, look at executing with the two-speed approach. Step 1, the mindset shift. To play true offense, you absolutely have to abandon legacy constraints. This means realigning your capital, shifting your budget away from just paying basic model fees, and pouring it into organizational training and massive data pipelines. Just consider this number for a second, 75%. Research shows that 75% of all databases will deploy or migrate to cloud platforms. You see, the cloud isn't just about renting computer servers anymore. It's a fully integrated platform as a service. When you fully embrace this best-of-breed infrastructure, you aren't laying down the payment yourself. You're driving on an autobahn that tech giants are constantly paving right in front of you. This standardization gives you massive leverage for talent acquisition and drastically speeds up your time to market. Step 2, the technical engine. Now, obviously, a high-speed autobahn requires a high-performance vehicle. Let's look at the 5 non-negotiable components of the technical engine that actually power this exponential growth. Component number 1, diagnostic pipelines. Think of these like a continuous MRI for your entire business infrastructure. You can't improve what you can't see, right? Your business has to comprehensively track and monitor everything, from multi-channel customer journeys to process throughput in real time. And this brilliantly illustrates how engineering these scalable data capture pipelines is the absolute critical foundation for realizing any actual business impact. Once you've got that data flowing, you need the second component, which is an integrated experimentation framework. Listen, operationalizing data science is completely impossible without a continuous innovation cycle. This means you have to establish clear business baselines and actually measure KPI movements in a statistically significant way. By embedding experimentation right into the DNA of your change management process, every single new deployment gets validated by real market impact. This ensures your restructuring efforts are actually pointing toward those incredible 2x to 5x productivity gains you want to see in the harvest phase. Component 3 is automated insights. So the crucial point is this. Traditional analytics, they just create massive dashboard fatigue. But more importantly, when you start aggressively transforming and rewiring these workflows, you are guaranteed to hit what we call the risk and cost DIC. It's this classic J-curve dynamic where productivity actually drops initially simply because your human capital is temporarily diverted to restructuring. Automated, data science-driven insights basically act as your headlights through that dip. They give leadership the hard, quantitative proof they need to hold their nerve and keep investing, even when the balance sheet looks, well, a little scary in the short term. The fourth component takes all this even further with recommendation applications. And to be clear, we aren't just talking about a retail website suggesting a pair of socks to a shopper. We are talking about highly advanced engines that drive real-time autonomous decision-making across your entire infrastructure. When you factor in a broad set of features driven by KPI capture, these recommendation engines actively and autonomously free-write your industry's unit economics. They do this by automating complex decision pipelines at massive scale. And the fifth, final component of this technical engine is the data lake and feature store. Think of this as the master kitchen pantry for all your data. Instead of every department going out, buying, and hoarding their own ingredients, both structured and unstructured data are totally harmonized in one single place. By using shared rules and semantic schemas, your AI models can actually find and reuse consistent data. Without this unified, consolidated strategy, you simply cannot operationalize your data science or drive cross-organizational insights. It is literally the bedrock that holds the whole engine together. Step 3. Agile by design. Because here's the reality. The most powerful technical engine in the world will absolutely stall out if the organization driving it is rigid and bureaucratic. Your infrastructure has to be highly adaptive to maintain continuity while you're integrating these massive disruptive changes. This means structuring your architecture to actively avoid monolithic systems and siloed teams. You need an adaptive portfolio management process where prioritization is based entirely on measurable impact. Continually measuring and evaluating your KPIs isn't optional. It's what lets you instantly pivot whenever business conditions change. And finally, step 4, the two-speed approach. Now, what's really interesting about this execution strategy is how it essentially provides a survival guide to avoid catastrophic rollout failures. So how do you actually execute all of this without crashing the company? Well, by avoiding the big bang approach. Look, despite the mandate to aggressively play offense, going all out everywhere all at once is a massive implementation risk. Digital transformation is incredibly iterative. Trying to flip a switch and do everything overnight leaves absolutely zero room for that inevitable J-curve learning cycle and the vital course corrections you're going to need. But conversely, doing too little or only focusing on super narrow use cases, that puts you right back to playing catch-up with zero structural impact. The solution here is a dual-track execution playbook. You basically need to operate at 2 speeds simultaneously. Speed 1 is all about solving specific, immediate business and customer problems to deliver direct impact right now. It's executed with an agile implementation mindset, focusing squarely on your current pressing priorities. But while that's happening, Speed 2 is running right alongside it in parallel. This second track focuses on long-term capability enhancement and actually building out that scalable platform we discussed earlier. It's about collaborative discovery, sharing artifacts across different business units, and adopting common standards. By balancing immediate agile problem-solving with the long-term discipline of building platforms, you capture value today while securing your dominance for tomorrow. Which brings us to our final thought. The source material makes this unapologetically clear. Digital transformation has to happen end-to-end. Treating this as some one-off tech project is just a total waste of time and resources. You have to start with a bold vision, make smart cloud-native technology choices, and implement them relentlessly using a 2-speed strategy so you can actually survive that restructuring dip. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a critical question to ask yourself and your leadership team. Are you merely running safe, defensive pilot programs, or are you finally ready to completely restructure your workflows, play offense, and actually win the market? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.